Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the 90. I'm Neil, your host as usual, and I've got James and Ant with me, and we're all three of us are feeling very good and very relieved after the 2-0 performance. As you probably can tell by the title, we have beaten Sheffield United 2-0. And over to you. What are your thoughts on the game overall?
Well, it's exactly what we needed. We needed a response from shambles against Bournemouth and stuff. And right from the first minute, the intent was right to get Sheffield United, not allow them time and stuff. And that's probably like I love what Chris Wilder's done at Sheffield United, but that's the worst I've seen them sort of play a first half in a long time. And I don't think that's down to them. I think that's down to us not allowing them to play.
Yeah, I totally agree. What are your thoughts, James?
Same as Anne. I think Norwood's always been their danger, their centre midfielder, but Ndidi kept him quiet. So there was no one around there to pull the strings and get the balls into their strikers. Played straight into our hands. So I think overall it was a great performance. Young lad Thomas was absolutely outstanding. Probably man of the match. He didn't seem to have any nerves at all. Just came into the first team, did what he had to do. Great assist. Seemed to backtrack well. I've seen loads of people saying if Chilwell goes, is he the answer? Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I think he had a good game. At times, I've just put a few notes down. He played sensible passes. At the beginning, he didn't want to take too many risks, but then setting up the goal was a great pass. At times, he was putting on some really nice crosses for people. And he wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary, but he was doing things, what he was doing well. And that's kind of what you want. Because in that wing-back position, especially the way that Sheffield United play, they could have absolutely killed us in that position. And I think that's something that us three were really worried about coming into this game. But yeah, took his assist really well, crossing really well, and just didn't try and go for the amazing pass. He played it simple. And what are your thoughts on him?
I thought he had an absolutely brilliant debut. I don't want to get too carried away and stuff, but I did like the fact every time he was getting on the ball, sort of putting a challenge in, you could hear Brendan Rodgers and all the sort of staff on the side applauding him and sort of bigging him up, which is good to see, build his confidence up. But yeah, if he's the answer to Chilwell if he leaves, I don't want to put too much pressure on him and stuff. I still think if Chilwell leaves, we need to bring in another left back, but he couldn't have had a better debut.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for the way he played in the style of the game, it could have been because Sheffield United don't give you any time on the ball. And some of the times when a cross came in or a loose ball came in, he'd control it well with his head, which is good to see as well. One thing I wanted to touch on briefly was that the attitude from the first minute was really up to par. I think one of the issues that we encountered before is that even though the first 45 minutes was good, we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit. And I was a bit worried about coming off in the Bournemouth game, for example. And it just seemed like they'd all been kind of whipped into shape a little bit and they were at it from minute one, which is something that we've not seen as much from this Brendan Rodgers team. So it was good to see that we had that intensity. We scored in the first half and then we just kept pushing because at times we have took our foot off. So I think, yeah, because it could have been easy to get in that down in the dumps mentality that they were from the Bournemouth game, but it was good to see that. So I just thought, James, have you got any comments on that?
Yeah, I think the tempo is completely different from the Bournemouth game. Even in the first half, we seemed to be a bit cagey, a bit nervous. Although we played well, and second half, as we know, was a complete disaster. Sorry. One thing I have noticed is I wanted to comment on was Jamie Vardy. All I've seen all season from a lot of fans is, Vardy's not scoring because he's not got the ball. He's not very good because he's not got the ball. He's not getting the ball. Today he created the most chances. Today I saw the old Jamie Vardy that would go and get the ball and create something. And I think it was a breath of fresh air to see him playing like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. At times he turned. I've just got it down. But he turned creator so many times, and it could have been a lot more if we would have taken our chances. And also, I think Dean Henderson was pretty good at the time as well. So, what are your thoughts on Jamie Vardy? The position that Jamie Vardy played in, and because at times he was dropping back to a point where he wasn't going to run into that space, but he turned into that number like a big number 10 would get the ball, hold it, and wait for other people to come into play.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant, and he got an assist from Gray, and he probably should have had 2 or 3 because Barnes missed quite a few chances. So yeah, I thought he was brilliant.
Just coming back to that, yeah, the Barnes chances, and I think the Tillemans chance as well, where he hit the post. Oh no, that was Vardy hit the post. Tillemans
Vardy
had
hit
to
the
work.
post, yeah.
Yeah. So from that, do you think that out of them chances that we could have taken, which one do you think we should have taken?
Which one or which
Or
ones?
which ones?
I think Barnes should have had two, to be honest. Particularly the one where he was right in front of the goal, one-on-one with Dean Henderson, and he just needs to find a corner. He hits it straight at him. And then the Vardy one, where he hits the post, he probably should have scored it, but he was slightly off balance, and it came off the outside of the post.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's something that I think the first one's a bit hard just because that shove in the back. Also, that shove in the back, would that be considered a penalty if
I
he'd
don't
gone
know.
over and not hit it? Because he blatantly shoves him off the ball.
It would have been soft, but I was thinking at the same time, do you see how much space Perez was into his right? I was screaming for him to square it, and he shot it at Henderson.
No, I didn't see that. I think James wanted to touch on that point.
Yeah, I think I don't want to touch on any criticisms, but my criticism will be Barnes playing up front. We've seen all season he's not clinical enough, which is why I said to you, Neil, I was very shocked that Nacho wasn't up front with Vardy. I think you give Nacho them chances and he'll bury them 9 times out of 10. And Barnes' decision making, sometimes he puts his head down and goes for goal, whereas he doesn't see Perez making runs to his right, and easy balls into Perez gets goals. So it's one of the things where I'm getting towards the middle of the second half and you think to yourself, oh no, not again. Are we going to rue our missed chances?
Yeah, I agree, and as well, I think something that was happening in this game that's not happened before as well. There was a lot more people able to run off Vardy, where before, if Vardy was holding up the ball, or Vardy would just be away with the ball and he'd kind of be in his own zone. But I think now, at times, other people are getting involved and making these runs to be able to get in behind Vardy, and then get, like you've seen with Perez getting a good position, scored the goal. Tillemans was making that breaking run that nearly scored from that as well. So is this the Jamie Vardy it's Jamie Vardy that we want to see, but is this something going forward that we're going to see more of, do you think, Anne?
Potentially. I think sort of this game played into his hands quite a bit, the way sort of the back three set up against him. But it worked well, but I think it's a completely different challenge doing it against Spurs defence and a Man United defence than it is against Sheffield United back three, which set up quite deep and sort of quite intense. So it might be, but it's a hard one to say.
Yeah, I think I think you're right. We'll have to see about that. Another thing I want to touch on was at times, especially in the first half, Sheffield United are known for their kind of like old-fashioned style football, get off the ball. But I think we held onto the ball in these central positions and on the wings really well. And it did look like, especially James Justin and Ryan Bennett and stuff, they didn't get shoved off the ball, and Tillemans didn't get shoved off the ball as easy as possible. So just at the midfield, what did you think of the midfield overall in the performance, James?
I thought the midfield played quite well. And Didi did what he had to do, as he always does. Tillemans played well, kept going forward. His passes were great. I think I read somewhere he did like 90% pass completion rate, which is great when you're playing against Sheffield United, because Sheffield United play 5 across the midfield. They tried to stop your midfield from attacking. So I think that's brilliant. I think overall midfield played well. Both wings played well as well. We already touched on Thomas. James Justin, I thought in that position played really, really well as well. Seemed to get forward a lot. His possession was a lot better than we've seen him in recent weeks. So I think on the whole, the whole team kind of went up a level than we were on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. And as well, just coming on to the defence, I think at the time we were with the back three of Bennett, Evans, and Morgan. There's quite a static back three, and it's something that potentially will get found out going forward. But coming into this game, I was a bit worried about that. But overall, what do you think of the back three? Because I think overall we did play okay.
Yeah, I thought this game they were brilliant, but I think when we play against some teams with some pace, as you say, that could be when we struggle. But McBurney and McGoldrick, they're two big physical lumps that like to hold the ball up, and Wes Morgan will deal with that every day of the week, which It's when we play against someone like Son or Bergwijn from Spurs, that might be where sort of the lack of pace in the back line we struggle. But today they were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think defensively we were really good. I think Morgan being one-on-one, he was a lot of the time one-on-one with Musa in the second half and just kind of stuck with him, and he played that role, bearing in mind he's not played much this season, played that really, really well. I just want to touch on the midfield briefly again. That I think you were saying earlier, James, that he had a 90% pass completion. Tielemans, I think for me, you were mentioning man of the match. I think he was my man of the match. We just seen him come into his own, like the Tielemans of last season. Even though he's dropping deeper, he seems to be able to got the pace to be able to get past players at times, and has got the skill. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he features in other games. Do you think the formation that or Sheffield United played into his hands, or do you think he had a good game?
I think he had a great game. I think three at the back, as we said in the podcast, I think it really suits his game and his play. He seems to give him a little bit more freedom. Although he is a little bit deeper, he seems to get forward a lot more. My only worry is he seems to have that freedom when Maddison's not on the pitch. I'd like to see them both firing in that formation when they're both together.
Yeah, that could be something. What are your thoughts on Tielemans' performance today, Ant?
I thought he looked absolutely brilliant, and it's more of a natural position that he's played a lot of his career before he came to Leicester, is sort of a bit deeper. Because when he came to Leicester, he's played a lot more box to box, but previously he has been a holding midfielder, sort of a deep line playmaker, and he looked absolutely brilliant. And I think this formation suits him down to the ground.
I think so as well. Yeah, I think at times he'd been playing too close to Ndidi, and at times you could literally throw a blanket over them. Them two were so close, and they're trying to play the same role. But today, especially going forward, we saw in the first half against Bournemouth that he played really well. But what really excited me today was A, the long balls by him, and B, the defensive cover, because it's not easy to defend against the Sheffield United team. They are a very good team, and they deserve to be where they are. But overall, yeah, I'm really impressed with the performance today. I thought, yeah, again, defensively we were solid, and yeah, so that's pretty much that's what I've got my end. Have you guys got anything else?
I was going to ask you guys, because you just mentioned Maddison. When he does come back, would you drop Perez, or would you put him alongside Vardy as the two, or what? Where does that sort of feed? Because obviously Maddison does start if he's fit for me, 100%. But would that mean then Perez gets dropped or Barnes gets dropped?
Do you want to go for that, James?
Personally, I'd probably drop Barnes. Perez, when he's in front of goal, kind of knows where the goal is and got the experience as a striker to put the ball away. So it's probably Barnes for me, because I think Perez, Maddison, Tielemans, Vardy together in that central role will be so formidable. It'd just be untrue. You get them all firing together.
You could be, and also it's a good replacement to know. I think if you looked at it last season, if Maddison had got injured, there wouldn't be anybody in the backup to really play in that position and really take it on. At least we've got that now with Perez, and if we're going to get Champions League or Europa League at the moment, if depending on where we finish, we've got a backup and we've got somebody that is going to do a job. And today it was good to see that Perez took his goal really, really cleanly as well.
Well, we're guaranteed European football at least.
Oh, statistically we are.
Well,
we've got 6 points.
Wolves can catch us but the goal difference is plus 20, so they'll have to win the last 2 games at least by 10 each. So for me, Europeans guaranteed. It's what competition we go into now for me.
That's going to be an interesting one, and I'm so glad we've won today. But I was just hearing on BBC Radio Leicester today when they were saying we were 14 points clear of the Champions League zone, and we've let it slip. Typical Leicester positions, but yeah, overall, I think we had a decent game, and I think we just need to be more clinical, because I think towards the beginning of the season, James, we were talking about this where we'd have like 2 shots and 1 goal. But I think we had a lot more shots there, but we just didn't convert as many as we should have.
Yeah, and I think we touched on this, I think, mid-season around, if you look at the year we won the league, we were converting most chances we had, whereas now we're not. And that's probably the difference between winning the league and where we are now. I think that the players are equally as good. I think we just need to start getting them chances. Maybe in the summer we'll get someone that's a bit more clinical. I think Nacho is quite clinical, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But as seriously considering now, I think he's out of favour.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the situation now with Nacho? Because in a game like this, you would have thought he would start, wouldn't you, Ant?
I thought he would have started, to be honest, but something clearly happened because after the Bournemouth game, I thought first half he was pretty decent, and Brendan Rodgers said he took him off because he wasn't having a good game, and obviously the second half collapse happened. So I don't know. It seems like there's something more than just sort of going on more than we can tell.
Potentially, we'll have to see, but hopefully we'll bring him back for the big games. He tends to, well, actually, he just tends to score in every game, to be honest now. But especially against the top people, he seems to be quite clinical. I remember he scored that screamer 2 years ago when we lost 4-3 against Tottenham. And I wanted to just touch on a last bit. It's the first time we saw Evans playing as a left back, so as a left of a back three. Normally he's played in the centre, but Morgan took that position. So him and Bennett, I realised, were doing a lot of really good long balls over to Vardy or to the midfield. Do you think this is something they've been practicing in training and stuff? Because at the moment, it's definitely something that I saw in this match. They definitely stepped up in. And
yeah, for me, it's something that we've moaned about. Well, I say I've moaned about a lot this year is the fact of passing out from the back when it's really unnecessary. Like, I'm a fan of us playing from the back, but at times you've just got to put your foot through the ball and stuff and get rid of it. And we've been guilty of not doing it and catching us out. So it's been nice to sort of see that we mixed it up today.
yeah, what are your thoughts on the same thing, James?
I think you're right. I think for the first time, it was good to not see Evans, Soyuncu to Evans, back to Soyuncu, back to Evans. And as Ant says, we come unstuck. It takes one challenge and then we're rushing backwards. So it's nice to see them playing the ball out. I think because the way Sheffield United pack the midfield, it just bypasses their midfield and gets you attacking quite quickly. So for me, it's the right thing to do. And with that back three, I think the back three played really well together. Morgan nearly scored in his own net. I thought that might have gone in. But on the whole, they played well. Evans, Morgan, experience, and Bennett's experience. We've got three very experienced centre-backs that know what they're doing. And that's sometimes better than the young kids because the young kids get out of position, whereas them three know where to be and at what time. They might not be the quickest, but they'll use their experience to take 2 steps back to give themselves a bit more space.
Yeah, and I think especially coming forward to the 2 games that we've got, well, 2 big teams we're coming up against, do you think that's going to be really vital? Or do you think that the pace of the people like Rashford and Greenwood and Martial, do you think we'll go for a more youthful back line?
So the Spurs game, I think they'll stick with the same team, if I'm honest. The problem you've got with Spurs is they always seem to beat us no matter what team we put out. But they've got a young team. If you get Son running at you, but I think Ndidi will be key in that game because Ndidi will stop their midfield playing. If you stop Spurs' midfield, you stop them scoring goals. Man United, that'll be the tough one because you need to try and cut Pogba and Fernandes out of that game. And no one's done it so far. So I think it might be an opportunity to try and get Chowdhury in there and try and mix it up a bit. If you hit Pogba and Fernandes early hard, that might be a different game then.
Yeah. The thing as well, they've got an extra 90 minutes to play, haven't they, as well, which might come in as a factor with the semi-final.
Yeah, they're playing Chelsea, I think.
Yeah, so hopefully they can run each other into the ground, go 120 minutes and be dead on their feet.
And I don't know I think it stops after 90 and goes straight to penalties, but I know what you mean. Or they just go flying in with each other and get loads of yellow and red cards that carry through. Because that would be really good for us.
That would be the perfect situation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be brilliant. All right, well, I think that's everything on my list. Have you guys got anything else to add just for this? Because I think I'm just really happy that they've bounced back in such a way compared to the 4-1 against Bournemouth. It just seems like a completely different team in a completely different part of the season almost.
No, I think you're right. I think it's what, as Anne said, it's what you needed. You have a bad result, you just move on and say, right, that was a terrible result. We need to go back and hit them flying. Everybody used to joke when Man City kept winning the league that if Man City beat you one week, the next team that was against them, they'd score 4 or 5 against them. So it's good that they've got that mentality to just put things behind them and say, right, what do we need to do to win this game? And that's exactly what they did. Spurs on Sunday, again, be a tough one. Let's hope they come that. And Man United, I honestly think that Man United will be the 4th playoff. And it'll be a crucial game, and it'll be one hell of a match, we hope.
Let's hope. And what are your thoughts on going forward? And just a recap of the match.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, and it's still in our hands, which is the thing that you want, like the main thing for us. And hopefully, Palace can do us a favour tonight. I wouldn't bank on it, but I've got a good feeling about it.
It's 0-0 still as of time of recording, so we'll see how that goes. Because I remember last time we were talking about this, James, we were like, "Oh, Crystal, we're going to lose 5th." Because it was just about the same time that they were playing, and that came out to a 1-1. So hopefully Southampton does a favour, and now, yeah, we'll see about what happens. Probably by the time you guys are seeing this, you'll know the result. So,
in all fairness, the Southampton match, we have to give a huge thank you to Harry Maguire, ex-Leicester player. Last minute decided to mark Wan-Bissaka out of the game. Was grappling with him because I don't know who he thought he was. Southampton nipped in and scored, so I just want to say thanks to Harry Maguire. Good work,
Agent Harry.
Yeah, Agent Harry, and we've got 80 million for him, so even more impressive. Anyway, that will be us wrapped up. So thank you everybody for watching. So make sure you like, subscribe, and pay attention to our channel, and we'll be definitely posting more content later on. We've got the Tottenham game. We'll be doing live commentary, and pay attention on the Tuesday where our podcast coming up as well. So we're really looking forward to it. We've got some special guests coming on towards the end of the year that we're really looking forward to sharing with you. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next video. So from me, James, and it's Beyond the 90, and we'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.